Well, hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, so today we're back again with KT Time episode 20. We have plenty of things to talk about, a lot of new upcoming things, and in general, as always, MCOC is keeping us busy. Seemingly, we have hit the busy time of the year, more or less. So, without delaying it far too much, let's just say hello to Mando, our lovely co-host for KT Time. And a quick reminder that during KT Time, we do read the chat, however, it is more of a podcast format. Therefore, we do not reply to all or most of the messages. This not might be the stream to ask all the rank up advices and things like that, unless you are wanting the chat to answer you. That being said, how are you doing, Mando?
I'm good. How are you doing, KT? Mr. Grinding off his ass, getting all those champions, the 6 stars, new champs. How you?
Oh, I'm tired. Honestly, I need a break, man. I'm so knackered.
Good.
I'm
Well, we're
really,
gonna get you a
really,
break.
really knackered.
The only thing standing between you and a little bit of a break is us going over everything for all the people out there watching and listening
Yeah,
to us,
well,
either live or later.
yeah, I'll probably be streaming tomorrow morning as well, though. But I'm not gonna be having to set alarm because all of these, like, for well over a week now, I've been getting up at like 4:30 a.m. to get my 6-star grind in before 5 to make sure that I can squeeze in a run before the arena finishes. There has been an upside to that, and that was that I'm kind of done with most of my MCOC stuff by like 6 p.m. GMT, and then if I need to make a video, I make it afterwards. So I kind of had a time to get like earlier evenings because obviously I was getting up earlier.
Right.
But I just want to sleep in a bit. I just want to sleep in a bit. Honestly, I'm knackered. I don't want to see arena for the next couple of days.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I can understand that. So, cool. Well, speaking of arena, you just went for Mr. Negative. I know we don't have the results yet, but let's talk about him as a champion overall. Now that we know he's been released, we know what he can do, we know what he looks like, we know all his interesting abilities, strengths, all that stuff. He has two different play styles, so to speak.
I think he has like a few more, but two are kind of like the main ones.
At
And he's
least
made
two for
very
sure, yeah.
cleverly. He's made really witty. As in, you can play him either never having to take any blocked hit at all whatsoever, but that, however, would also reduce the amount of damage you're able to do, or
Right.
just parry everything, never dex properly, and then go for max damage. But in
Right.
general, what do you think? You have a 4-star, right?
I have a 4-star. I've ranked him to rank 3, but I haven't really played. I haven't had the time this past week to really play around with him. I do have him duped, and I have him at I think level 20. He I did play with him a little bit. Don't get me wrong. His playstyle is very different
It's quite
than what
finicky. I'll be honest. It seems quite finicky.
Yeah.
Some and
I
I still haven't gotten like 100% hang of it. Like that is one downside of grinding. I don't really get too much time off stream to like
yeah.
mess around because I get up early. I do the half of arena early, then I stream the rest of it, and then I do like half around in mid-afternoon, and then I do the 6-star grind in afternoon, and then I'm kind of done with MCOC, so I don't really get too much time or energy to mess about with champions. And Jack,
Shut up and take my money.
thank you very
Yeah.
much, Jack. He's still celebrating Chelsea winning Champion League, so
Nice.
congratulations, Jack. Again, thank you very much.
Um.
But yeah,
Overall,
when it comes to negative,
I mean,
honestly, like here's the problem. I understand how they made him and why they made him the way they did. What I don't see for Mr. Negative, unfortunately, is like a proper purpose. Like, why? Why would I want to do whatever he does? When, like,
yeah.
it's listed in some of his strengths, for instance, never block a hit, right? And obviously, that is a very high bar to clear, so to speak. But we have champions like Ghost, who never has to block a hit. Obviously, we have champions like Quake, who never has to block a hit. We have Elsa, who can pretty much never block a hit, especially if you run like that synergy that reduces the cooldown timer. And then there are like other champions who can do similar things, right? Why would I pick him over any of those? And the similar kind of thing, you can revert the heal and power gain, right? Petrify is
Right.
not really all that rare these days, and plenty of champions can access that. My problem
Especially
is, hmm?
a lot of the rebuff champions they added Petrify to.
Yeah, in general, it's just become relatively common, and
Yeah.
so my kind of question is like, why would I use him? The only thing that really goes there is like the degeneration resistance that is kind of like fairly rare, but degeneration's not exactly common in the game at the moment either.
Yeah. I guess you could see, he's the second character to be released recently. Spider-Ham being the other one with degeneration resistance. The
Mm.
only thing I can think of is maybe in the future there will be some more degeneration nodes and such that we will see, but there's still very few that can deal with it well in the science class, and I just don't think I think they're going to have better champions out there. Now,
But
we kind of mentioned this before that, he could end up becoming a champion that Kabam makes nodes for in the future, and he ends up being like one of the best or the best for to conquer that. But as of right now, he just doesn't do anything on paper that we would
yeah, as of
that
right
we
now, he
would take
seems
someone
fairly
else.
light on actual executionable utility and reliable. But
Yeah.
again, that is not to say that my opinion will not change of him as I play more and more about with him, because I hopefully got a 6-star. I do have a 5-star at rank 3, so I will mess about with him for sure, 100% guaranteed, even more. And I have
Yeah.
seen some like neat things again, like very effective regeneration reversal. You can do Realm of Legends Wolverine. It's like cool, but that's not
Yeah.
really like a purpose. There's a ton of champions who can do that.
No, no, I mean, you
And
got Void, you got plenty of people that could do that.
overall, he's a champion that I like and that I want to like more than I do. Unfortunately, I'm looking for reasons to like him. I'm just not quite there
Yeah.
yet. Like one of
Yeah,
the bigger
well, and it
drawbacks for him is these dark and light energy. They last for like 16 and 10 seconds or 6 seconds, something like that. They expire very, very quickly, and if you do something wrong, you kind of need to start all over again. And then that
yeah,
is very, very annoying.
it it almost feels like they need to tweak him already, but
Yeah, pretty
anyway,
much.
we'll see. I mean, all I can say is I think he's a really cool looking champion. His
Oh yeah,
animations are
he's one of the
beautiful.
coolest looking champions in the game. That's why I was so hopeful for him, because he's a champion you want to
He
like.
he has an excellent synergy if you like playing Venom
Oh yeah,
with Venom.
yeah. That Venom
Uh,
gains a substantial amount of heal, doesn't he?
yeah, he gets anytime he triggers a genetic buff. Basically, Venom has a 20% chance to get a regeneration buff, which will heal for 10% over 9 seconds. That's
Yeah.
what the thing is,
So in any longer
and it's
fights, that means
a
Venom can probably sport double edge and liquid courage quite well these days.
yes, absolutely. It makes him great for that. It also just makes him great for if you're gonna take him into like a questing and you want an entire synergy team around him. You could really because he could counter a lot of the annoying Spider Verse champs. A lot of he's just a good champ overall. I always said for like the variants and such, and having Mr. Sinister, like for the villain variant, for example, having him that could be going in there with him and give him the ability to top up and stuff would be kind of nice.
Yeah, that's
Or,
true.
it's not guaranteed, but a 1 in 5 chance every time he triggers. And if you got an Awaken Max Sig Venom, he's triggering those a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, okay.
uh,
We can move on to the next one though.
yeah,
With Mr.
that
Negative,
was it.
my current look at the champion is that he's intelligently designed with a critical oversight.
Hmm.
I do think he's neat. I don't think he's like bad champion. I don't think he's like Super Skrull or Psycho Man. He's far better than those champions, but I don't think that he's like, I don't know, She-Hulk, Captain America, Void, stuff like that. I don't quite think he is like that.
No, he's not on that level,
Yeah.
at least as of
For
now.
now,
So,
anyways. Maybe that changes. Maybe there's some secret hidden rotation that will get unlocked and he's going to be busting some chops. Or maybe he gets some synergy that turns him into an absolute monster in future. We don't know yet. But currently, I don't think he's quite like anybody's game-changing character for an account, so to speak. I do like. I think he's
yeah.
like neat, nifty, you know. but don't think he's gonna change anybody's
He's
ability to clear
he's
content pretty much.
yeah, he's definitely the lesser of the two champions
Yeah.
released this month,
But
unfortunately.
but speaking of lesser things, speaking
Yeah,
of
what
lesser
lesser
things, wait, not yet. Speaking of lesser things,
That's coming up.
I wanted to segue into
Coming up.
Alliance for season changes, but we first have to.
Oh, we could. I mean,
It's
you
fine.
could, and we
Let's
could
just go through the buffs. We need to segue through that. So let's
yeah.
segue.
So we have 3 buffs again next month. One of them being a overhaul, one of them being a moderate, and then one of them being just a tune-up.
Well, let's start
So
with the
we've got
tune-up because it's
3.
kind of like more straightforward. I think
Yeah,
we can
that
get through this
one's
one relatively quickly, right?
yeah. I'd rather let's start with Ebony. So he's getting another tune-up, the second one.
Isn't it third one though? I
Um,
think he got a tiny bit of a tune-up when he first got released within like
oh,
first
that's
couple of weeks.
right.
I
Yeah,
think this
he
is actually
did.
third
He
one.
did. You're right. This is his
I think
third
they released him
tune-up to
so
try and make
bad that they buffed him a teeny tiny bit straight after the release, and then they balanced him up again, and then we were laughing that he's getting tuned up again for a second time, and now this one is third one.
Yeah, this is really weird. If I remember correctly, it basically makes it so if you make a mistake against him now, like fighting him, or if you're using him, you're basically gonna degen to hell.
No, it's actually not that bad. Like most people are overreacting. I think it actually degen less than you did before if you make a mistake against him. I think
Yeah, well, yeah.
well, unless you do it like
It
after
has a potential.
okay, so what are the changes? The most important changes are that his
Yeah.
strive synergy basically got kind of like built into his kit, where
Right. Which is
he can
good.
continue faltering opponent after reaching 100 of his charges, which was previously one of my favorite ways how to defeat a stacked Ebony Maw. Just delay
yeah,
the
just wait.
fighting till I get 100 charges, because then falter is gone for good, and I don't have much to worry about. Now that will not work. He will falter opponents throughout the fight. And if he
Which
reaches
is
100,
good.
yeah, that is good. And if he reaches,
It's good if you're playing him, yeah.
Yeah, and if he reaches 100 of his charges, he also gains attack increase of like 30-40%, which is a decent attack increase. You know, it's kind of like imagine popping like a max champion boost on him, pretty much.
Yeah, definitely more damage, which is what he needed. Now, granted, you've got to get there, but he also reaches the focus, the falter debuffs is a lot faster, I believe, than it used to be. Also, it's like 0.6 seconds versus I don't remember what it was. I could look.
I
Hold
think
on,
it
let me
is
see what it
slightly
was.
faster, but let's face it,
yeah.
none of that really matters much. There are a couple more changes. The Fury buff lasts a bit longer than it did before, so it's easier to be nullified if need be. But the main change really is special 2. This champion basically just got into his special 2, where you can get a very, very potent passive degeneration, and then it is on every hit, right? So you can get up to like 9 degens basically, because each hit inflicts a passive degeneration dealing 3000 damage, but you can increase the potency of the degen with your persistent charges, which you gain the same way as you did before, and having increased attack. And then on top of it, if the opponent is suffering from falter effect, you inflict, instead of 1, you inflict 3 degens. So you can, I think it's like 3 hits, so you would inflict 9 degenerations and resend the falter. That is like the key aspect. Another thing that has changed, by the way, I forgot to mention just very quickly, is when opponent misses Ebony while they are faltering, now they get a passive 1-second degen, which previously was longer, and it's more potent now. So you can trigger it multiple times, like within one falter window. But anyways, it's all going to be about that level 2. It's all going to be about that level 2.
It's kind of like he kind of got turned into the level 2. Now, the level 2 used to do decent damage to begin with, but when you say decent damage with Ebony Maw, it's it's a low baseline. But yeah, the special 2 is definitely going to be the one you want to build to. You rarely want to use a special 1. You want to go right to that as soon as possible, because you're probably going to end the fight.
The special one you only want to use to get the mission. You want to use it to build up. You kind of have to use that in order to nullify Fury, Cruelty, or Precision. And that is one of the 3 things that you need to gain a persistent charge.
Which I like how they give, if they don't have a a Fury buff, he'll give him one that they can nullify, that it doesn't do
Yeah.
anything to the opponent.
Yeah,
That's
but that
kinda
means you
nice,
need to
too.
drop 2 level 1s, basically.
Yeah, I know, that's kind of a pain in the ass. But at the same time, you want to do the missions
Yeah.
because it helps you more.
But yeah,
And
overall, it again all depends how potent the degen's gonna be. If he's a damage degeneration beast, obviously people will use him. There will still be the problem of him being a squishy little turd. Let's face it, he's very, very,
Yeah.
very, very squishy, which might be the deal breaker realistically.
It just comes down to another champion where you can't really parry. You have to do a lot of intercepts. It's not going to be suicide friendly at all.
Yeah.
Things like that.
But we'll see. He definitely looks quite good for a while you only have that. By the way, we need to pause whatever we're talking about because, man, you have no idea. Check this out.
Yeah, I was gonna wonder. I was saying everybody was saying that the arena results just came out, so I want to know what you got.
This is what I got.
98. Jesus, dude. So he went for a lot higher than you thought he was gonna go.
He went
as a
for a
minimum.
lot higher than he was gonna go. I put up 133
Jesus.
million, and that's 98.
And you
And
barely
I
made
only
it.
did that. I genuinely thought he's gonna go sub 100, and I
Yeah.
only did that because my alliance mates kind of scared me, because pretty much most of my alliance mates or all of my alliance mates had scored above me at that point, and I was like, shit,
Yeah.
this is getting scary, kind of thing, you know. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be the one in my alliance that does not get the guy.
Yeah. Anybody else in your alliance get him?
Well, we can check it out. There should be.
So I was wondering, yeah.
1 second.
I'm wondering if anyone.
Yeah,
I'm
here we
wondering if
go.
anyone in your alliance.
1
yeah.
CAC got him. Galase 2. The key 3.
Okay.
4 from triggers.
Hey, Fluffy Pig got him. I
5.
just saw that.
6. 6 guys got him in my alliance in arena.
6. Now, did anybody?
But yeah, he
Just
went
miss out from your
higher than
alliance?
Shang-Chi first round, because I nearly missed.
Oh yeah, that was a lot, man. That
This
was
is
a lot higher
so
than even I
much.
thought.
Man, this was so much, man. It's too much.
Yeah, he scored higher than Shang-Chi on his first round, which is, I mean, Shang-Chi was the first arena, so no one knew what to really do.
Yeah,
but
but
yeah,
man,
Jay Page also made 94 apparently.
I'm so happy.
Crazy.
I'm so happy that I put in that extra work today.
Yeah, I mean,
I was
seriously,
legitimately gonna stop at like 120.
You would have probably missed out because
Well, not
133, almost 134 being 98. I'm sure the people behind you were still 133 somewhere.
Yeah,
at 133.
I know for a fact that spot 100 was 133, 4 or 600,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, well, there you go. Did anyone at ASR barely miss out on it?
Yeah, there will be a
Just curious.
few people that missed it out for sure, because I know that there were a couple of guys who scored under me in my
I
alliance
feel
as
bad
well.
for them.
Like, we have Integral 121. Ooh, poor Integral.
No, Integral. Sorry,
And
Integral, rip.
I think
Oh,
Integral
no.
was the one that went lowest from us all now then, because I ended up overtaking Integral.
I feel really bad for Integral because he's a good guy too. I like him a lot.
Yeah, well, anyhow, I got him barely.
Skin of your teeth, buddy. You
I
got
know,
him,
that was the closest, as close as you can come, pretty much. Anyways, I'm gonna stress about that tomorrow. I'm gonna upload a video about this tomorrow, because we definitely we need to talk.
If you went 101, you would have been so pissed.
Oh yeah, you have no idea.
I know you would have.
I know
anyway.
it will.
Okay. Well, congrats, KT. Back on the good stuff. Congrats
back on
again.
the good stuff. So Ebony Maw, I think ultimately, I don't think he's gonna be game-changing character. I don't think the utility is good enough there. But if he deals a huge burst of damage, at the very least, he will be, playable. I think realistically, he's probably gonna have the same fate as Terax does, where previously, if you were ranking up Terax, it was 100% only for defense and defense alone. And with Terax buff, he's not exactly the champion that you seek specifically for offensively, but if you happen to rank him up for defense or because you find him very fun, then he's going to be able to put in some work offensively. I think we're probably going to be able to see some very interesting degen, because, like, it should be scaling with his modified attack, I think. No? Yeah. Anyways, we'll see.
Yeah, it should. It should
Yeah.
scale with it. Can we talk about War Machine next?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about Machini the War. And War Machine is, first of all, it's the saltiest buff for everybody, which everybody hates that Kabam does when they rework champions that are not readily available as 5 or 6 stars. Because War Machine has barely been in any crystals. And he's not in the basic pool.
Barely been in...
And vast majority of the people don't have him. That's why everybody's going to go for this guy either in arenas or crystals and stuff like that. And Kabam do that on purpose. And it's just, it's just underhanded at this point. This rework program is not designed for Kabam to sell crystals, in a sense. You know what I mean? The purpose of this rework program is to kind of like make us feel better about shitty pulls and rosters that we have already. It's not, because if they keep doing it, it's comparable to releasing additional champion, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly what it kind of felt like, and that's why I felt like this was kind of a slap in the face. Because, like you, for example, you have neither him as a War Machine as a 5 or 6 star. I have him as I think I have him as both now, but I had him as a 6 star already, but that was rare. Like, I recently got him.
Yeah,
as
exactly.
A 6 star,
I don't I have a big account, and I don't have him as a 5 or 6 star. Obviously, it's more than likely going to change by end of next month, but.
Sure.
But
yeah, but
it's
like
also
I don't have
not
him
like
as a 5
it's an
star. I have
option
him
for
as
everybody.
6 star.
And I think it is something that definitely has to be kept in mind when picking champions for rework.
I mean, but again, I think they are keeping it in mind. It's just
that they're misusing that information. And all I'm saying is that it does not look good. It does not feel great. Like, again, like, I know that I might come across like a spoiled child, but considering how big my roster is, and considering how many of the 6 stars I am missing when Kabam is reworking them, it is not coincidence they are hitting the 6 stars that are less and like newer to the game, less available for everybody and stuff like that. Like White Magneto was a good example, and in general, more and more champions that Crossbones, for instance, Crossbones just barely got added to the 6 star pool.
6 star, yeah, I know that it's frustrating, but I don't think it's something they're going to change anytime soon. Unfortunately, it's kind of like.
Annoying. But anyways, let's just actually go over War Machine's abilities then. What do you think about him?
Let's go over it. Okay, he has the potential to be very interesting, especially if you fill up. Like, I don't want to get into specifics, but just basically, if you put him in a team with all heroes, he's going to have the craziest, like, able to do all his pre-fights every single fight. He definitely is not just a support champion, I don't think. I mean, I think a lot of people... The thing I don't like is it's only for tech class, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, he does have the ability to have both persistent charges that help him activate, his pre-fight. And they do give interesting things, like they add the cleanse that's pretty fairly new. They do other things. He has the ability to be a decent champ. I still think, and you've said this yourself, he's going to be similar to Iron Man Infinity War, where by the time you do what you're supposed to do, the fight should already be over, because it takes too long to build up for his max damage.
Yeah, that is definite first biggest weakness. So, in case you guys haven't seen my breakdowns or anybody's else's breakdowns of War Machine's kit, the base idea is that he will be very similar to, let's say, Mr. Fantastic, but only for tech champions, where he gets like 2 persistent charges at entering the quest. He can go up to max 5 of these charges. He gains charges by winning the fights, 1 for himself and 1 for every other tech champion in the class. The 4 bonuses that he can activate is basically tech champions gain 10% attack rating, or you get 2 cleanse charges at the beginning of the fight, or you gain energy resistance equal to the armor rating, or you gain increased debuff duration and slight attack increase. So those are 4 abilities that you can give to any tech champion. But when it comes to his own base abilities, he does have like Rupture, Armor Break, Fury accessible to him. He has slightly reworked signature ability, which is a lot better now, including regeneration instead of armor ups. And all in all, problem with War Machine, as far as I'm concerned, is that whatever he does, in my opinion, will take too long to do. I actually want to make a video at some point soon about champions who are automatically disqualified from being top contenders in the game just for having too long damage loops. Because if you look at the top of every single class, all champions have one thing in common, and that is that they do not rely on long damage loops. Whether they access a huge portion of their damage or all of their damage by the time they get level 2. Any champion that requires you to drop level 3 and then something, or even level 1 and then something else, most of the time lands somewhere in the middle kind of the class strength level wise. It's just because it does not work, because MCOC is tuned, our brain is largely tuned to the level where we expect most of the fights to be there about done by the time we get to level 2. Maybe just shortly after. Nothing longer than that works. Think about Mysterio. How often you play Mysterio and how often you actually drop that level 3 to get that full potential damage increase? It doesn't really happen. Namor's biggest Namor's downfall, why Namor's not used more often, is because his damage is just taking too long to kind of get to those level 3s. Only champions that can get away with that are champions that have significant power gain effects, like Doctor Doom, for instance, where you just need to drop level 1 and then you get level 3 and you get into this entire cycle. Or any champions that, basically have significant ability to gain more power or alternate in special attacks. No champion like Iron Man Infinity War will ever be a top tier champion.
Yeah. Even like
Messiah comes in with a fiver, by the way. Thank you very much.
Messiah.
Even like Symbiote Supreme, which I'm still a big fan of, but even him, it takes him a while to get to that level 3, even if you have max Mystic Dispersion.
99. Just here so I don't get another fine lol.
Yeah, but that is, you can honestly take a look at pretty much every top class situation, and you're going to see that all the top champions don't have some sort of drop this special, do that, drop that special, and then do damage kind of thing. You know, Immortal Abomination is notoriously slow starter, and he starts with a single level 2, and then he deals not decent damage, and even that is considered a slow start because his base damage is so low. The reason why Black Widow Deadly Origins is so loved by everybody is because she accesses pretty much all of her damage output immediately from the first hit. And that is very important for any champion. And as long as Kabam designs champions that need to drop 2 level 2s to level 3 to get max rotation, only way this potentially can be useful if the damage is so outrageous that it works for Everest content, which I don't think it will be, because there's completely different niche to be cut out, right?
Yeah, it's very much it's very much one of those things where he's just not going to be useful, I still think.
I think he will be able to get the fights done if need be, but you will not want to use him.
He's not going to be a standard questing champ.
Oh, definitely not. But you will not really want to use him because of that long damage loop. The only way around that, though, I think there could be a saving grace, tiny saving grace, when you are drifting thereabouts at a lower health, right? Because if you start at 20%, let's say, or 30%, and with Suicide Masteries, you drop below 15% by using special attacks or taking chip damage, then you trigger the signature ability, which gives you a ton of fury and regen, and if you do that in order to finish out fights quicker, I think that is only kind of like reasonable day-to-day questing scenario. But in order to get that done, you need to drift around that 15% mark.
Yeah. So overall, I'm gonna have to wait to see. But
overall, he's definitely a champion that I want to have access to. I'll put that straight out there. I think like it's one of those champions similar to White Magneto, Mr. Fantastic, or Odin, whatever. Regardless of what you think about the champion, how good or bad they are, he definitely is a champion everybody should want to have access to, because he quite simply offers more options. You can use the cleanse mechanics to protect Ghost from armor breaks, or you can, I don't know, all of a sudden bring in Warlock against some lane that has Incinerate on it, or you can protect any champion against Iceman's Cold Snap, so on and so forth. So in general, I do think that this is a champion that everybody should try to get, even if you don't want to rank him up, just for the sake of having him.
Yeah. He's gonna be one that won't be a bad one to have at all. He's gonna be like a I don't think he's gonna be as potent as like a
like I know for a fact that I want to grind for that piece of Metal Scrap.
Well, yeah, you'll get him. But I mean, he's not gonna be as potent as like an Apocalypse, but I think he'd still be something that would be nice in certain scenarios. He's gonna elevate some. He's gonna elevate some tech champions that are already really good.
Yeah,
And
that's the
make
worst
them
thing, that it
better.
only involves the tech class, and a lot of the things that he does for several of the techs are like quite unneeded. For instance, I know Guardian doesn't really need more energy resistance. You know, he doesn't need debuff duration
Or
increase really, because he hardly inflicts any debuffs for most part. Attack increase,
right.
sure, neat. Beautifying debuffs, I guess, but he heals from Suicide Masteries at the start anyway, so it's another champion. Like, you know what I mean? A lot, for instance, that purification ability would be so much more powerful if it wouldn't involve the class that has like 9 out of 10 robots in the game. So we can see that
Yeah.
we have 9 champions that are bleed and poison immune. Like, because if you can use it to bypass Suicide Masteries, obviously it would be great to have in the game available. But about half or a third of this class just don't need it flat out, because most of them are bleed immune. How many bleed immunes does that class have? Let's go with bleed immunity.
Oh
Flat out bleed immune
gosh,
is
it has
listed as 10. However, we still have Iron Man Infinity War, which is 11. He's practically bleed immune.
11. Yeah.
We have Hulkbuster, who heals from bleed. We have Silver
Buster, yeah.
Sentinel, Silver Centurion, who is bleed immune if he has armor buff. And yeah, so we get more and more of these guys like up there that can deal with, let's say, bleed very effectively. So I think the most annoying thing is that it is tied to tech class, but at the same time, I think if it wasn't, it couldn't be as interesting, you know, because they would need to be much more careful with what abilities they
I would
give
have.
here.
Yeah, I would have rather it be tied to like tech and Avengers. Like add one
Oh yeah,
more
that would be
piece to
so
it.
much better if it would be
Yeah,
like
so
Tech and Avengers. That would be so good.
because it would make sense. You're not doing all heroes, so it's not being like similar
And yeah,
to
and especially because it
others. You're
mentions
not
having hero
making it
champions on
too.
your team, you know, because he's a hero. That'd be so much better.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
so much
Yeah,
better.
all they have to do is just add one thing to it. Just
Yeah.
add the Avengers on it also, and you'd be fine.
Yeah,
But oh
that
well,
would be
it's one of
a
those
lot better.
things. I know. That's the thing is if Kabam would take into effect like some people like us, like if they'd get our advice and we could say it'd be spicier if they did one more thing, they'd probably do it. But I don't know. Anyway,
I
I
do
am
want to
looking
mention
forward to
that
trying
chunky
out this
armor
next.
buff though. That armor buff is pretty much like one of, if not the
Oh
biggest
yeah.
armor buff that you can get in the game. It's a huge armor buff.
I was gonna say what is it? Based on a rank 5, it's what 3,500 and some
Yeah,
change.
so it's 3500.
Yeah,
And that's a huge
yeah. So
armor.
it's like that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay, let's move on to the last
Yeah.
one, and Ultron. Ultron's buff is relatively more straightforward, so I'm going to quickly break it down for the guys, and then we're going to talk about it. The base idea is that Ultron's abilities largely remain the same. The biggest change, I think, to any individual ability is the function await, which is going to function much more similar to Labyrinth of Legends Ultron await, but it is going to work for 1.5 seconds, and you will see an actual timer for it. And that alone makes the champion a lot better, in the sense that you can intercept like a crazy rabbit with the guy, and it's kind of like intercepting with, I know, Invisible Woman. Like, worst thing is gonna happen, you miss an intercept and you're gonna start evading. That's it, and you kind of want to trigger it anyways. Still has the heal.
Yeah.
His bleed has been upgraded against mutant champions when you can inflict degeneration. So that gives him a tiny bit more viability. But let's face it, Ultron was a good champion. At the time, for a time, he was one of the better champions in the game because of his double immunities and heal. What he didn't have
Right.
is damage. And now, basically, if you can bleed opponent or degenerate against mutants, by the looks of it, you will gain significant damage increases on your special attacks, and especially special 2, you will be able to pause it and effectively gain a huge 2 to 400% fury increase. So, hopefully, the numbers hold up. So, my personal, what do you think about this buff?
I am hoping it's as good in practice as it is on paper because I have a dupe 6-star that I'll take right to rank 3. I like the fact that now he's going to have the ability to basically make mutants his bitch. I like the fact that his bleeds actually are going to be able to be like potent, especially when you add in the fact of deep wounds in there. I love the fact that basically he has the ability to evade and you know when it's going to happen, not just randomly when you're fighting against him, because that was always annoying. Um, but I think his special 2 is going to be detrimental to pretty much ending fights. Like, I think it's going to be one of those that we were kind of talking about earlier. You want a champion that can basically, by the time you get to level 2, you're going to end the fight. And it kind of seems like this could be the way. Plus, he's going to have questing sustainability by the ability to heal up to 2 times per fight if you get low enough. He's going to have some great synergies that look like it could have some fun stuff happening.
Yeah, he can kind
I
of
just
probably
love
go stun in as well with synergy with
Yeah,
Dragon Man, Sentinel, or Classic Ultron Guillotine 2099.
which I would definitely bring my Dragon Man, which I just ranked 3, and I'd have fun with that. I mean, it looks like he's gonna have just a little bit more. Plus, I like the fact that anytime he had got just in his kit anyway was when he got energy damage that he regenerated part of it back to him, which made him. I remember when I first started doing Arena when I was new to the game, I brought Dormammu versus him, and that was the longest fight I ever did
Did
because
Dormammu do
Dormammu
all
was
energy
straight up
damage?
energy.
Don't you mean Doctor Strange? I think Dormammu basic
No,
hits
no,
deal
no.
regular damage. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he can, but I was doing like more energy damage hits, I guess, and it was such a bad fight. But I don't think deep wounds will. Someone asked if deep wounds would increase the duration for degen on mutants. It would only be for bleeds. It's only going to help bleeds, even though it factors differently. I doubt it will. We'll have to see, but I really think that we're going to see he could possibly be another contender to be a great dual immune champion you can bring that could also be possibly more than just dual immune based on other things he has in his kit.
Yeah,
And
because he has that
synergies.
incinerate and shock effect suffer 80% duration, which honestly I do not like nearly as much as the 80% damage reduction. Because, you know, with willpower,
Right.
I don't know, we'll see how that works out, but it should coincide quite well with that energy damage absorption as well and gaining power. But in general, overall, when it comes to Ultron, I think his kit was fine and is slightly better now, which is cool. By the way, what I forgot to mention is now that every third hit inflicts bleed debuff, so that's kind of cool. 2 combos, 3 bleeds
Oh yeah,
guaranteed.
I forgot about that.
And also
You're
the
right.
fact that every parry will give him a relatively tiny but guaranteed armor up. That is also quite cool.
Which is nice because
It's
like,
guaranteed,
if you're
it's reliable, and you'll be able to stack it.
Yeah, and the fact that if you have a lot of this will make him great for players that are reliant on parry. They're not very good with intercepting. They're learning the game. He's a champion that's been around for a while, so most people probably have him at least as a 4-star maxed. I would imagine maybe as a 5-star or 6-star, maybe at least having him. But I'm looking forward to seeing how he is in practice.
Yeah, I think that
because
ultimately is going to be the deciding factor here once again. Because if his damage is good enough, he will be.
mediocre.
It's kind of like the same situation like it was with the Yellow Jacket, where looking at the kit, you kind of like nod, decent, good, I like that, I like that. And the key deciding factor, what will become of the champion, is that what kind of damage he can access. In this case,
Yeah.
you kind of expect quite a lot of it.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, then he's gonna drift in irrelevance once again. If he does a good damage, then he could potentially become like a mainstay staple for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And is,
He's
for me personally,
definitely-
most hopeful of the changes.
Yeah, I'm really hoping because I have a 1 to 2 tech rank up gem. I have a tech T5CC on the way to forming a second one, and I've been holding off for like a Warlock or Ghost. But I will take him up since he's duped immediately because it would just be so nice to have him.
I have
Plus,
him, but
I
I
really
don't
like the
have him
character.
duped. But either way, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. What do you think about the change to his name, now known as Ultron Prime versus Ultron Age of Ultron?
I like Ultron Prime much more.
Yeah, I do too.
That
I think it's
movie
a
was
very good
nothing to be
change.
proud of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no.
So, he shouldn't be wearing that movie's name as a badge of honor. Just like
No. Even though that's where he came from, like this design,
Yeah,
he's still that's the best thing from it. But I
Was
think
very
he's gonna be a
proud.
great champion. So let's see.
Yeah.
I hope.
Okay. Yeah. Let's cut it here. Ultron is overall the
Mhm.
one that I'm looking forward to the most. I will upload what I'll do tomorrow, since I'm not grinding at some point. I'll record fights against Winter Soldier with and without synergies for all the 3 champions that are getting changed. And then after the buffs go live, after the update is live, what I'll do is I'll upload a video on each, like I did last month, comparing their damage output and some generic circumstances pre-buff with and without synergies, and post-buff with and without synergies. in order to draw
Yep.
some sort of conclusions. Because I do have
always
all
love
of...
when you make those videos.
Yeah, because I'm going to have to use like a 4-star war machine. Because I think I have him rank 5 as a 4-star, to be honest. Or maybe rank 4, whatever. I'll use a 4-star
There you
war
go.
machine. And then I do have like 6-star rank 1 Ultron and more. So we'll see. So we're going to get that done. But let's move on swiftly but surely. Otherwise, this episode is never going to end because we still have plenty to talk about. Anyways, war changes for Season 27. I'll quickly summarize them and then you can tell me what you think. So I think the most positive changes are these quality of life changes where loyalty store is changing, where you're not going to have to hunt for random boosts to appear and be at mercy of Kabam whenever they spawn them. You'll be able to buy like one of them a week, or you're going to be able to buy each of them once a week. Cool. Oh no, available every 3 days. Sorry, every 3 days. So you're going to be able to buy 2
like
of them.
twice a week.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And perhaps most important change is that Alliance War Energy will basically match Alliance Quest Energy system, where you start with 4, it refresh in 45 minutes, and cap is increased to 6. And there are changes to scoring, which is too early to say how it is going to impact everything, but the base idea is that win means less. There is no more defenders remaining bonus, but each exploration means more, so you are de-incentivized to do boss rushes, which is something that we do need to talk about, however, because a lot of alliances do rely to those strategies quite often. But in general, I'm not sure. I think if they wanted to reduce the importance of the win bonus, then 30,000 is still a crap load of bonus, so I think they should have reduced that further, but hey, that's just me. We'll see how it actually looks like. And Tier 3 is going to go from expert map to challenger map, so anybody in tier 3 is going to have easier time, which is good. There are a couple of node changes, nothing too drastic. Overall, I'll say all of them are getting neutered a little bit to account for Immortal Abominations, interactions with a lot of nodes. Double Determination and Lionheart, because that was definitely an oversight on their part.
Yeah.
And the other bigger change is offensive tactics, where each player will be able to select their offensive tactics, but most of them are quite crap, and most of the defensive tactics are quite crap. Honestly, it kind of looks like Alliance Wars can be more or less the same, or actually easier. What do you think?
Hashtag bring back stubborn.
What do you think? Okay, I guess let's break it down step by step. So let's go with the change of removing the defenders remaining and increasing exploration points. What do you think about that?
I mean, my war battle groups have always 100%ed, but I liked when another team didn't, because we got the bonuses for our champs just not being touched. I don't know. I mean, I do think it's going to hurt the teams, definitely, that didn't fully explore the maps, because now they're going to be... I don't know.
Kabam is cutting short that whole strategy in both of the game modes, because Alliance Quest also made it impossible to do the quote-unquote boss rush strategy, right? Where you just kind of like left some side and then took something linked and was done with it, right? And the same idea is kind of here, where a lot of people were doing the boss rush because that is what ultimately mattered the most. Now you...
Yeah, because you got to get the boss down.
Yeah, you know, you will be actively de-incentivized to do so, which I don't like. I kind of feel like if people want to play it that way, it's like, why not? Well, I know why not, because they're not using enough items, they're not dying enough.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, that's what Kabam did it for. It's not for anything for us. That's annoying. Yeah, I don't like it. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah, I don't like that bit. But also, this change, like one of the bigger, and here is how you can say that Kabam is aware of players' problems, but they prioritize monetization always above the players' problems. Because the biggest problem was that people don't die in the wars, therefore every single death feels absolutely horrible, right? If you play top tier alliances, we have had wars where we go, I don't know, we die 3 times and we lose because opponents died twice. And we have obviously had vice versa results. But imagine being one of the guys who dies 3 times. It's just absolutely horrible, right? And you feel bad for it, because you have screwed your alliance.
Yeah.
But now, even if you win, you will still feel shit because every death will be a lot more impactful on your season score because winning means less. Because previously, if you die but your alliance win, at least you were kind of like, let's say, off the hook for most part, you know? Like, okay, your alliance lost teeny bit of points, but so long as you keep winning, it doesn't really matter. You're still gonna, like, be ahead. But right now, every death will count much more and it's gonna be more significant for entire season, not just the war. So they took the aspect that people were most unhappy about with the war and kind of like made it worse.
Yeah, they basically did. This is not a pro player move at
Yeah, because you're
all.
gonna see like, because if each individual fight and win bonus now matters more, exploration bonus and stuff like that, and win bonus for the war matters less, then each individual death means more than it has ever meant before.
Yep.
And we already
you gotta
had that
have a high
situation
attack.
last season where New Nation overtook Kenobi for third spot total for like 2 win bonuses, I believe.
Yeah.
And that has to be the shittiest feeling ever.
Yeah, it definitely is. I don't know. I
I
don't agree with any of those.
Well, anyways,
changes.
I'm not gonna bury this scoring update before giving it a go at all. Like, I don't think it's gonna work out, but let's see what happens.
But energy, can we talk about energy real quick before you move on too much? Energy, I think, is long overdue. There's no reason it should be taking an hour to get 1 energy and only be capped at 5. So now they're moving to 6, which is a great move. 45-minute timer, which is more in line with AQ. And you start with 4 versus 3.
I actually kind of cared less about this one, pretty much.
I care more about it because I think of the people that join later because when war starts, maybe they're sleeping. And whenever I go to bed and I've cleared as much as I can wake up and have 6 energy. And I know that if it's
I'm not. It is definitely a good change, and I don't want people to misunderstand me. I mean, like, again, from my selfish, childish perspective, I never really had a problem with it because I always got through entire war with 2 logins. What you do is you start the war with 5 energy, go and do your path fights, and I go to bed, and I wake up, and I use next 5 energy, do my second tier fights, do my mini boss. That's it. Now, this obviously will help because previously we had to kind of juggle. Somebody had to kind of like take the first steps in order to let other people through and stuff like that. But for most part, I don't think it was as big of a deal for me personally, but I can understand that it will help a lot of people. I think it was a much bigger issue in Alliance Quest than it is here. However, now with 6 energy and 45-minute refresh, here is the most important thing. You might be able to actually cover 7 energy tiles with the same set of large boosts, which is actually quite meaningful. Because if you get to the fight at full energy, let's say wait a bit at full energy, put on your boosts, right? And then do the fights in about 10 minutes, whatever 3 fights that you have, spend all your energy, and you will still have the big set of boosts active for the next fight.
Yeah. Which is also good because I hated when I put on like a 30% HP and health and you have an hour, and I know that even if I have to time it such a way that I have to jump back in the game to make sure that move I made, I have like 30 seconds left before that boost expires to start the fight before I know there's other ways to challenge it, but I'm just saying that's one of the things.
Yeah, so now basically a boost will have a bigger reach, which I think is going to be super helpful. Anyways, let's move on to these offensive and defensive tactics. Right, and when it comes to offensive tactics, I think most of them are quite shite. Especially this one.
It's just...
Especially, well, there's going to be the damage over time offensive tactic. I don't even remember. No, regeneration offensive tactic. I don't even remember what it did. Doesn't matter. Damage over time defensive tactic is pretty much pointless. And I'm going to tell you why. Because A of the champions it include. So here is the biggest problem with offensive tactics and the way Kabam thinks. And I could break all of them down, but honestly, trust me, most of them are kind of pointless. Power down might be decent and maybe occasionally slow your roll, but this first one is definitely absolutely useless. Anyways, here's the problem I have with offensive tactics. They do not include the best champions in them on purpose, right? In order to quote-unquote encourage us to use different champions. That shitty little offensive tactic ain't gonna force me to bring in Blade or I don't know, Daredevil, Hell's Kitchen, or Squirrel Girl, or Sasquatch, or Ronin, or Old Man Logan over Nick Fury. That shitty offensive tactic is not gonna make me put aside Doctor Doom and bring in Sasquatch anymore. You know what I mean? People will, and always will carry on using the best options for every single fight, the best champions.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
is
I can't see people not using Doom and not using Black Widow Clairvoyant or, so on and so forth over just because they'll get Black Widow Deadly Origin can get a boost for damage over time.
Yeah, exactly. And the damage over time benefit is hardly useful anyways. Because let's check this out. What it does, if you have 2 damage over time effects on the opponent, you inflict a heal block. If you have 2 damage over time effects, you're already passively reducing opponent's healing by 30%. And typically, if you can inflict few damage over time debuffs, you can inflict few more. And if you have like 4 or 5 damage over time debuffs, then opponent ain't healing almost anything anyways.
Yeah.
So what's the point of heal blocking them if they can't heal anyhow? And similarly, with the rest of them. Okay, this one can kind of be alright, where if you have armor break or armor up buff, then you can apply 10-second slow debuff on opponents, so you can get slow on a lot more champions. But again, as if you're gonna bring in a nihilist to slow the opponent. It's just not gonna happen.
The only one I saw, like that one does include Colossus, Venom, Hulkbuster.
Yeah, there are a handful of champions, but I don't think it will again, that's why I said occasionally it might come into play, but again,
maybe, yeah.
If it's an offensive tactic that helps you 1 in 50 fights, it's a shitty offensive tactic.
Why does it have to be specific champions? I mean, that's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
Why does it
with
have
offensive
to be
tactics,
champions?
it should just be generic, probably.
Yeah,
You're not gonna
it
use
makes
crap
no
champions.
sense. If defensive is going to be like, or even that, if defensive is going to be for specific tags, then make these tags. Don't make them like these champions.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah, the point is, this whole offensive tactic thing, I think, is gonna go pretty much fail, unless they make them really, really OP. Which they can't do, because then war's gonna get too easy, and if they make these 2 OP, they need to make defensive tactics really OP as well, which is not something that nobody wants, because then we're playing a completely different game.
Yeah, I look at this as it doesn't matter what I pick, because I'm probably not going to be bringing any of those champions.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'll probably use one of them offensive tactics a couple of times throughout the season. That's how I look at them.
Yeah.
And the defensive tactics are no Quake, and the rest of them are irrelevant. we have the high ground that doesn't let you Quake, and then the rest of them again don't matter much.
Yeah. So what's everybody going to use? The high ground one.
Yeah, obviously just stop Quake probably. So overall, I think I want to play Alliance War slightly more than I did the previous seasons, but not because I think it's going to be better, just because it is something finally different, because I was so stale and bored out of the previous Alliance War. But overall, I don't think they have improved Alliance War one bit. I think it's actually possibly even worse.
The worst thing about it is the fact they haven't even announced the rewards yet, which is stupid.
Well, they'll get there when they get there, but overall,
it's
needless to say that a lot of people are still extremely unenthusiastic about the change. I believe entire 4 Loki Alliance is not taking part of competitive wars.
They're not.
Several people have completely stopped playing or stepped down because of this. It's just not enough and not good enough. That's what it is. These are not necessarily catastrophically bad changes, but these are changes that do fuck all for refreshing the game mode. It's just kind of like cutting the shit off one end, it's just kind of like, sweeping the shit from one corner to another corner, not actually cleaning up.
Yeah, it's not doing anything to progress the game forward. It's changes, but it's nothing that's helping that game mode.
It's not a change that goes in progressive direction upwards. It's a change that might be going downwards or is neutral.
Yeah.
Change for the sake of change is never a great thing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that. I mean, there's really nothing else we can say about that.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next points then, shall we? We do have to
Yeah.
pick it up. We
Which
do have
is
new
the new
champions being
champions.
released. Now, I do have the new champion abilities. I uploaded already a video about Purgatory, and then I have
Overseer now.
Overseer. I'm not going to be going over all of them in detail too much right now. There's a sketch. 1 second. So these are Purgatory abilities. If you want to know Purgatory abilities, there's a video uploaded already. Overseer abilities, I'm gonna slowly kind of like scroll through them, and then you guys can, well, I'm gonna be making a video tomorrow morning anyway, so you guys can wait till tomorrow morning. But the point is, he does look quite good. He does look quite good. Let's go over a few main points. So he has immunity to Nullify, Fate Seal, and Stagger, which is fairly kind of like, you know, standard. He's also poison immune, as all Hulk should be.
Yep.
Every time he fills a bar of power, he kind of gains like a gamma stack, up to 6 stacks. And then when you activate, I think, special attack, you can consume these gamma stacks and basically gain all sorts of bonuses. Also, here it says, as you are building gamma stacks, you gain 351 attack. So that is a fairly substantial attack rating increase. And you also gain 17% increase to your personal debuffs from special attacks, which is kind of neat.
Yep.
Right, and then once you get to 6 gamma stacks, 1 second. Once you get 6 gamma stacks after launching a special attack, you consume all of them. You enter your cosmic mode, which lasts for 20 seconds if you had 6 gamma active. And it's paused during special attacks from you or your opponent. And what then? Then you gain a whole bunch of attack, and you deal physical burst damage, kind of similar to iHulk's damage, whilst you're in your cosmic mode. And overall, he does look very interesting. He has a taunt on a heavy attack, which I absolutely love. And when opponents throw their special attacks, they reduce their ability accuracy, which is also a fairly cool thing. Also, after a special, you gain cap shield. So after a special, gain auto block passive, giving 100% chance to auto block basic attacks when struck twice. It lasts for 7 seconds or until triggered. So you can just randomly throw his specials and you're going to be relatively safe. It's kind of like Medusa's auto block pretty much after his special attacks. And also you are stun immune while auto block is active, which is kind of interesting. And then we have guaranteed stun on level 1, and you can regen on level 1 as well, which is neat. So he's a Hulk that finally has decent regen.
Oh, that's good.
He has access to Disorient on his special 2, which would work really well with that special ability accuracy reduction on special attacks. So you can 100% shut down opponents' abilities during their special attacks completely, which can be neat. And you can also gain an Energize buff, granting increased combat power rate after level 2s, so you can get to more specials. Level 3, inflict a physical vulnerability debuff, so your burst damage abilities are going to get more potent. And his Awaken ability, actually, I really liked. If opponent ability fails due to his personal immunity or reduced ability accuracy, they take a burst of damage, but you're reducing their ability accuracy, so they will take burst of damage from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then also striking the opponent while they are recovering from a heavy or special attack, you also deal 2,000 something physical damage, which is a fairly decent chunk of damage. So he looks like he will have a decent amount of utility and quite a lot of damage. And I like that.
Damage we've been wanting?
Yeah, I will definitely grind for this guy, and if I have to put up 150 million to get him, I'll get the motherfucking sucker. I mean...
Well, he looks good on paper. I just want to see him in practice.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, obviously, I do too. Here are his synergies. Again, I'm going to make a full-on video tomorrow, but I do like him. I do like him a lot. And I think, again, this might be what we kind of all the time wanted. He looks like he's going to have decent amount of damage because of all of those attack increase from his, like, you know, cosmic charges and cosmic mode and all of that extra physical burst damage and stuff.
I forgot. What class is he going to be?
Science.
Is he going to be...
Science.
He's going to... Science? Okay, good. Yeah. I was just making sure.
So I'm not ranking up anything in science class right now. I might be grinding for the sucker.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool.
Well, that one looks good.
Yeah, Hipster Hawk might be decent.
He's good. He looks... His model, I haven't seen him in game. I've just seen the champion spotlight.
It looks quite good.
But it looked cool.
Yeah, and then we have Purgatory. I just uploaded a video on it, so I will not go over all of the abilities, but just to point out a few bits that increased energy resistance, immune to incinerate, she deals energy damage instead of physical damage. She can gain all sorts of different abilities by stealing souls and soul shards from opponents based on whatever class you're going up against, which is something I don't really like. It's just always a bit fussy to remember. Like, again, it's just one of those things. I mean, eventually it's not going to be too bad, but if you, like, She-Hulk is an old champion, and if you ask me exactly what she does against every single class, I could name you like 3 or 4, but I don't remember some of them. Like, I know that against Science, she can purify debuffs. I know that against Mystics, she reduced their power rate and increase her attack by a flat number. I know against Cosmic, she gains attack per each buff they have active. Against Tech, I have no idea. Something to do with armor. Maybe reduce their armor potency. I generally don't know. I think it was something.
I don't even. You're
and
better
again,
than me.
And against Mutants, if I'm not mistaken, she lowered their ability actually during special attacks, something like that. But the point is, that is a champion that has been in the game for ages, and I still don't really know them. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of, like, same as Miles Morales. Miles Morales has 3 different abilities when he finishes his combos with a medium. I know it is like stun, power drain, and weakness, I think. But I have no clue what is against which classes. Like, you know, it's just a lot to remember in a game that has 200 characters, so please don't.
But did you say energy damage only from her?
Yeah, she's only energy damage.
Laughing, Human Torch,
Yeah.
Captain Marvel.
Well, she's Incinerate melee though, so
Havoc.
she is Incinerate immune though, so Human Torch has to do pre-fight. Anyways, moving on. Moving on, she has this mechanic of Bloodthirst. It's just kind of similar like Gladiator Hulk's Crowd Excitement. Every time she strikes the opponent or parries, she gains 5, and over time they fall off. And once you hit, every time you gain any, you gain like 9% of a bar power. Her regular power, combat power rate is reduced by like 40%. But yeah, every time you hit an opponent or parry, you're going to gain a bit of power to kind of compensate for that. And when you reach 100 charges, you enter your basically OP beast mode. You gain 2,274 attack rating, which is kind of cool. And you can pause that beast mode during special attacks and whenever you feel bar of power. You can drop 50% of your bar of power when you finish a combo with second medium, which is very interesting. I actually want to play around with this interaction quite a bit because there are several nodes that interact with you feeling a bar of power, which you could potentially kind of like cheese and abuse, you know?
Cheese it, yeah. So that'd be awesome.
But yeah, so basically you can do light, medium combo, drop half a bar of power and put a small incinerate on opponent, which, you know, is neat access to incinerate, but the incinerate's quite shit. Special attacks, you gain another 2,274 attack if you activate it during your beast mode. So she basically probably gonna have like, quite a lot of damage, hopefully.
Now you want to get to the beast mode, basically.
Yeah. But and I think you're gonna be able to do it quite quick because it's 100, and you gain five of them for parrying or striking the opponent. So you should be able to fly up there with a handful of combos.
Should be, yeah.
Special 1 on activation, gain 25 Bloodthirst, which is her charges, which is neat. And also, if activated during Demonic Rampage, each hit regenerates 10% of damage dealt, which could be amazing regen. It could be kind of like Black Widow Clairvoyance regen.
Yeah, and not only that, it would negate the recoil damage for suicides.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, you're gonna take it, but you'll have a lot that you regen.
Yeah, so it kind of needs to be seen how potent it exactly is, but I'm quite hopeful for that. And yeah, the fact that she could be a mystic that is relatively suicide friendly, I love that. And also we have special 2 when you inflict quite potent degen, which should scale with her attack modifier, so it should be dealing quite a lot of damage, because it should be potentially dealing over 20k degen damage over 6 seconds. You know what I mean? Because you gain you gain a significant fury buff entering your beast mode, and then if you activate special in beast mode, you gain even more attack. And also if you are in your
something tells me that they're gonna have to change this because it could come out where like she ends up being just way too overpowered.
Nah, I don't think so. I think they accounted for that, and the one this has to be great. And also last bit, if you activate special in the beast mode, this special 2 is unblockable.
That's even better.
Yeah. Special 3, gain a non-stacking power gain buff, granting 100% of max power over 35 seconds. So it's a relatively slow power gain buff, but it can take you up to 3 bars power once again, which is cool. And the main purpose of this power gain buff is to let you cross the power bar thresholds quicker, to pause your mega beast mode thing.
Yeah.
And
or
also
you can consume it. which is
also,
awesome.
if the opponent's soul is captured, this attack deals 4% of their max health in direct damage. Now, I want to see if that bypasses Abyss cap, because if it does, she might be one of the best Abyss options.
That would be insane if it did. Oh my god.
Yeah, because she might be able to solo stuff in Abyss with this. Just like 4% special.
Oh,
Because if Abyss health
that'd be
pool is like, imagine 6 million. So where's the calculator? So what is the biggest health pool in Abyss? 5.4 million?
That's a good question.
What is the big
I would
health
say,
pool in
yeah,
Abyss?
that's about roundabout.
I think it was like 5.6 or 5.4 million, something like that.
I could look. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Okay, so anyways, I'm gonna make it as 5.5 million, whatever.
Okay. Well, I was trying to look it up to see.
But
that's fine. Yeah, do it like that. That's fine.
So times 0.04, you're billing like 220k special threes. Something like that.
Jesus.
So in Abyss, she might be able to actually solo some stuff. You know, because she gets because you drop a level 3, you gain a power gain buff, and then you try to get your specials again quite quickly, and you pause them, and it should be quite interesting.
It would be interesting if that ends up being if it bypasses that cap. That's insane.
Yeah,
We'll have to wait and see.
would be quite good. Agree. And then she has more abilities. So when filling a bar of power, you basically gain a soul shard. And when you get 9 shards, you capture opponent's soul, and then you put passive neutralize on them that reduces their buff ability accuracy by 65%. So it's kind of like Tigra, except like it works 2 or 3 times instead of every time. You know what I mean? When they would get a buff, it doesn't trigger. So it's kind of like a neat ability, but it also gains additional abilities based on whatever class of soul you have captured. Against Mystics, whenever opponent activates special attack, you regenerate 60% of damage taken from block for 6 seconds. So again, Sorcerer Supreme, regen and block, just not quite as potent. As against Cosmics, when filling a bar of power, nullify one of their buffs, which is super cool. And if you do, you go unblockable for a bit. Against Techs, when you fill a bar of power, you armor break them, which is OP against Techs, because that's all the time something you want to do against Tech champions. Against Mutants, when the opponent activates special attack, you power steal 66% of the remaining power, and you gain the same amount. Against Mutants, she should be quite busted as well.
Yeah.
And against skill champions, when a damage over time debuff on the opponent expires, it is purified or fails to apply due to an immunity, inflict a slow passive on them for 9 seconds. So that also can be quite cool. Against Science, it does nothing because you have class disadvantage. And then you have signature ability, winning the fight during demonic rampage, or with a special attack instantly captures the opponent's soul, which is very, very important. But the other ability is not really that important. The duration of Mystic, Cosmic, and Skill souls is increased by 35%. The potency of Tech Mutant souls is increased by the same percentage. So I think she's going to be a champion that needs to be Sig 1, more or less.
Yeah, that'd be, which is nice because we've had a lot of new champs or reworks that's been, you got to have max 6. It's nice to not.
And then the synergies here, I'm not going to go over all of them. Some of them are fairly interesting, but that is about all I know about Purgatory. And again, there is a video where I go over all of these abilities already uploaded on the channel just before the KT time started. Overall, I think she's going to be cool. Overall, I like that kid.
I think she'll be
very interesting.
She looks cool.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if she's going to be creme de la creme, but I do think she has a potential to be in Mystic top 5, let's say. I don't think she's going to overtake Claire and Doom. Well,
but I do think, like I said, I think she'll be suicide friendly though.
Yeah, so we'll see. I do like that. Yeah, that region level 1 I like a lot, and yeah, I definitely am very eager to grind for her and see what she does. Because I do think she has all the makings of a good champion. But then again, on paper, Mangog looks like a very good champion. It's just that his numbers are completely let down. So we need to see what this young lady.
Always have to see. On paper, we can't rely. We know this.
Exactly. But hey, they do look cool. They look very cool. And yeah, I want to see more of them and about them, and I look forward to them getting added. I know a lot of people don't like original creations and stuff like that. But I think when champions are created specifically for MCOC, I don't mind it at all, especially because
Yeah.
this is kind of like.
It's like a hybrid of the created champions they've
Well,
already
first
made.
of all, it's not like Maestro is like some sort of unique concept, you know, it's just like alternate version of Maestro
Oh,
that I
yeah,
have not
no,
seen
that
anywhere,
is-
so I don't mind too much. The only thing that pisses me off is that Bruce Banner now is the most represented person in Marvel Contest of Champions. We have 5 Peter Parkers, we have 4 or 5 Tony Starks, but we have 6 Bruce Banners with the addition of this guy.
I missed that, but yeah, I agree with you.
We have 6 Bruce Banners now. We have 4 or 5 Tony Starks, we have 4 or 5
Yeah.
Peter Parkers, but we have 6 Bruce Banners now. That's a bit too much.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
a
much.
bit too much.
It's a lot.
Right, and right.
We got an update to the Grandmaster Challenge. Basically, we've gone over it last week that we knew it was coming, and now they've kind of said what it's actually going to be. And what they've said, okay,
Here
well,
is what they
let's
said.
go
I
over
have the
it
post up
first.
here.
Yeah. Go over what it said, and then we can talk about our thoughts on it.
So basically, the top bit we already knew: 20 fights, finish with Nameless Thanos, blah blah blah, rank 3s, challenge, whatever. But the last portion of it disturbed me because number one, I expected it to be a permanent piece of content, and it isn't. The Grandmaster Gauntlet is a limited time quest that will be available for 1 month only. If you're not able to complete it yet, the Grandmaster will return to issue this challenge again in the future, and your progression will be kept. This means you will not allow those who have already completed it to try again. Now, I hate that. I hate the wording of it. I hate the beauty of it. I also hate the fact that they could have just left it in. But here is the biggest problem. Because it's Kabam saying that, and because there are no details of it, it's, as far as I'm concerned, bullshit. When they released Variant 4, they promised us more ways in the future to acquire 1-star Hulk. We haven't gotten that. Platinum Pool bundles, they promised us that they will come back. They haven't come back now in nearly 6 months. In 6 months, they haven't been back. And again, here, like, what would it have been so hard to say we're gonna try and return it back twice a year, every year, once a year, twice a year, every 3 months, whatever? Like, you know what I mean? At least give people something to work for and let them know what's happening. Because right now, who knows? Is it gonna come back?
It's
This year, next year, year after?
It's bullshit. It should have been permanent
It should
content.
just be
I also
permanent,
don't like
yes.
the fact. I don't like the fact that you can't go back in if you've already completed it either, because think of how many times you've gone back into Abyss to do it for fun and stuff, and they're basically saying, nope, once you beat it, you're done.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm probably gonna stream. I'm gonna
stupid.
get to the final fight. I'm gonna tussle with Nameless Thanos and quit out because I will have to get back in there if I want to make guides and help other people.
That's so stupid, man. It's so stupid.
Yeah, it is very shit. I don't like it at all. I think they're doing this in pretty much the worst way possible.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll see what... let me just put it like... I'm still kind of excited for it, but I'm a lot less hyped than I was before, because a lot of people are gonna be very pissed off if they can't do it. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm like 99% sure that I'm gonna do it, no matter how hard it is. Because if I can't do it, then that content is not made to be done, is what I'm gonna say. You know what I mean? It's not that I'm like that skilled, but I'm that determined.
But you've done
and I have done everything, and I have a big account, and I'm very determined, and I know that if they ever release a piece of content that I cannot get through, then something that has gone very, 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 very wrong.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So that's all we know now. We don't know the reward still, but hopefully we'll know more. It's definitely not releasing on Wednesday, so I don't want everybody thinking it's coming out this Wednesday.
Yeah, well, we don't really know that though, because I didn't say when it's releasing, so I wouldn't be surprised.
But we would have, we would have had at least the rewards by now.
Yeah.
If they were going to do that.
Maybe we can get them on Monday. We'll see. Anyways, just stay tuned, follow the channel, hit that notification bell. When we do know more, we're gonna let you know more.
Yep.
Just like that. And then the last bit would be the side event about Castle Rifts. Rifts are back. So what do we think about RNG rewards?
RNG rewards are bullshit. We already know that.
Yeah.
The fact, so they're doing the rifts differently this I don't only want to say season, but this time around, they're doing 4 different ones, and then they're giving you the ability through solo objectives to get a maximum of
4.
2 keys.
4 keys.
Of 4 total, but yeah, I mean, 2 keys like at a time.
No, it's 1 key at a time, 4 times.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant. 1 at a time, but you could use them all in the same one.
Yeah,
and it
you
honestly
can save
looks
them
like,
and use them for the last week, which is probably what
Yeah.
most people do.
That's what I think most people are going to do, because those have the juiciest rewards. But that's the other thing that's kind of shitty, is they don't even have consistent rewards throughout all of them.
Yeah, that's what I really think. This month it's kind of characteristic. Whoever did the announcement this month sucks at their job. Really does. This month, like previously, all these announcements were very ambiguous and we don't know whatever the hell's happening. Here, they're making some sort of new Cavalier crystals, like with specific champion pool. Except this month, we have no idea what champions are going to be in there because for whatever reason, they didn't let us know this time. We do not know what's going to happen with these arenas. We know that it's going to be 2 to 4 star champions. And first of all, let's just appreciate the fact that right now, when everybody's pissed at Kabam about arenas, they add more arenas for the side event quest. Normally we had arena like once a year that was connected to side event. This time it's every month something to grind.
Yeah, and if that's what their plan was oh, we're gonna have these arenas every month for the side event, that's gonna allow them to use these lower star champions, and that's how we're gonna combat. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of, especially because these don't even have rank rewards; they're only milestone rewards.
Yeah, anyways, but we don't know what are going to be the milestones. We don't know how many points we'll have without, which is stupid.
This is half a fucking announcement.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally what it is. It's like half of an announcement. It's half what it should have been.
Yeah, that's just. Anyway, so the side quests, it's rifts again. Rifts, I like the idea of rifts. I don't like the idea of we have a maximum of 4 times to choose what the fuck we want.
Yep.
And we have to decide which week we want to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, we're gonna get 7 entries, so I assume we're gonna have to do each of these weeks 7 times, and that's gonna be it. But I don't know. Again, like, it's very ambiguous announcement. You really don't know. But overall, I don't think it's the worst. I definitely don't think it's any good. The only kind of saving grace for this thing is if you open this image in the new tab, and if I'm gonna zoom in at some point there, then we're gonna see that last week there is nothing to do with 5 stars, which I'm kind of okay with. Problem is that they added 1 6-star signature stone crystal. 1.
Yeah,
as the jackpot.
What the fuck?
That's a jackpot
what's
prize.
What's up with that? 1.
So if you use all your selectors to get 6-star signature stone crystals, you can get 4 6-star signature stone crystals of a random class. What the
Yay! 4.
Dude, that's so stingy. That's so stingy. I swear to God, it's so bad.
Fuck Kabam. Can't spell
so
fuck
bad.
Kabam without the K.
If you don't want to add 6-star signature stone crystals in those events, don't. This is like just laughing in your face. This is like standing
Even
on a
if I got that randomly?
Yeah, this is like standing on a balcony and throwing pennies in like the face of, homeless people.
Yeah. Hey, I gave you 100 pennies.
Yeah, it's like I gave you a buck every day for a year. I have given you a buck, piece by piece, like a blue shiner.
I know there's like 1,000 of you out there, but I threw 100 pennies.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. That's as if Kabam is throwing pennies from a balcony in a horde of homeless people.
Yeah. No.
Anyways,
this is just fucking
I don't think it's gonna be the worst side event. I definitely don't think it's gonna be a particularly well received side event. I guess the saving grace for this event might be extremely good crystal pool. For those Cavalier crystals, because I think we're gonna be able to get like 20 something of those, so it's gonna be a decent chunk. Not like this month.
This month was very stingy with
them. Yeah, this month was like, why even bother?
Took 4,000 charge. I think you were able to get like a total of like 4.
3. Without buying daily offers, you can get 3.
Well, was that including the
calendar,
the weekly thing?
The calendar, arena, solo objectives, you could get 3.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
I got very lucky getting a 6-star, but the rest of them were just trash. I got 4 stars.
Yeah,
but at
I
least
got
they were
all
still
trash. I got nothing from them. Anyways, that is about it. We have went well over the time, so I'm gonna cut it here. I am
Yeah.
exhausted. I need some rest, honestly. After that hell of a grind, that was barely
You
enough.
got lucky as shit.
I
You're
got
lucky
so
as shit.
lucky. I can't believe it. I got so lucky. Somebody.
Somebody
Uh,
likes you, man.
Yeah.
Well, this week was a very jam-packed episode. Thank you, everybody.
Next
being
week, even
here,
more so,
Kate.
because next week we will have a ton more things to talk about. New Cavalier nodes,
Oh, yeah.
experience, more information about champions, rework results on conclusions, and a ton of other stuff. So do not miss. So you want to hit
miss
that
it.
subscribe button, you want to hit that notification bell icon, and check back in
Hit the like
tomorrow.
button.
Right, that is about it. So let's say huge thank you to Mandalorian for keeping us all company and co-hosting this thing.
Thank you. And big round of applause, KT. Congratulations again on getting that 6-star Mr. Negative. Place 98. Doesn't matter if you finish 1 or 100.
Yeah, true.
You just have to get the top 100. So
Yeah,
there
exactly.
you go.
And yes, I will be streaming something tomorrow morning. So see you in the morning, folks.
Bye, guys and gals and everybody.
Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about Hello there, guys, and welcome back.